Deadpool's time traveling and fixing things that went wrong in the movie. And one of the things he does is time jumps back to...
Because who wouldn't?
Baby Hitler. And apparently it's a very funny scene with Deadpool pacing back and forth going, oh, wow, do I do this? Do I do... And then he does.
Because it's Hitler.
Because it's Hitler.
Yeah, but it's a baby.
But it's baby Hitler.
But it's baby Hitler.
But he's a cute little baby.
He's going to grow up to be
It's
Hitler.
not a little baby that has a mustache.
So there you go.
Beginning today, 13th East, from 13th South to 21st South, we'll have closures for water main repairs. The closures will continue through January 2019. So that's going to force the other side streets around there to be handling a lot more traffic. A brush fire next to the on-ramp from Union Park Avenue to go westbound I-215 has the right side of the ramp closed. Traffic is getting by on the left shoulder. Incident I-15 southbound at Point of the Mountain. There was debris on the road and an accident being cleaned up there. Elevate your summer at Snowbird, offering daily activities like the aerial tram, mountain coaster, and all-new Woodward Rectangle. Pre-purchase your all-day activity pass online for best pricing. Details at snowbird.com.
All right, it is time to call and get in line to beat Gina. 877-602-9696. We've got some...
Ogden Twilight tickets.
Yes, if you beat her, she will give you Ogden Twilight tickets. But if she beats you at a reasonably easy Mick Jagger and Rolling Stones trivia, you got to give her...
Oh.
You got to give her a prize. Good heavens.
I won't lie to you. I'm really out of it today.
She's on medication. She's loopy.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
You took some meds. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
But for your vertigo. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's fun.
You got an advantage. 877-602-9696. But when you call in, be sure to tell Nick what prize you're willing to give Gina if she beats you.
Mick Jagger trivia.
Mick Jagger and Rolling Stones trivia.
Oh, see, that was one of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Mick Jagger is the lead singer for what band?
Again, they're pretty easy questions. So that's one of them. 877-602-9696.
You better get your ass to the X.
It's time to play the game that everyone wants to play. It's Beat Gina, brought to you by Prohibition, Utah's sexiest new speakeasy. Thursday nights are always roaring at Prohibition with burlesque dancers and geeks that drink. Come see what everyone's been whispering about. Prohibition, located at Fashion Place Mall in Murray, next to Nordstrom. Line up and reservations at prohibitionutah.com. That's prohibitionutah.com. And if you win the Beat Gina, you will get a $25 gift card to Prohibition. Oh, but that's not all, Johnny.
You're Johnny.
I mean, Carrie.
No, thank you.
Carrie Johnny. X96 is excited to welcome the return of the 2018 Ogden Twilight Concert Series, happening now through August 9th at the Ogden Amphitheater. Don't miss Jackson Stell and special guest Sajib Saha. Someone will be there.
Let's all be there.
Tickets are on sale now at ogdentwilight.com, and one lucky winner, Carrie, will win tickets to the Ogden Twilight Concert Series.
All right.
Let's play the game.
All right, it's time to play Beat Gina. Here's how we pick our contestants. It depends on the prizes that they're willing to give Gina if she beats them at trivia. Line 1, Gina, is offering you 2 desserts from Gourmandies.
2.
Line 2 is offering you 2 tickets to Fall Out Boy and some red wine.
Red wine.
And line 3 is offering you a box of geodes.
Geodes. Well,
A box of geodes.
that's pretty nice.
You like geodes, Bill?
Well, my daughter likes geodes a lot.
Okay, I will play for
Seriously.
Really?
Little Mrs. Bill.
Wow.
Well, that's very nice of you.
All right, well, that means you're going to be playing against Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, Tim.
I didn't know Johnny had a daughter named
Yeah, I'm learning
Little
more
Mrs.
about
Bill.
Johnny.
I live at Bill's house.
All right, Tim, it gives you the advantage in the game if you go first. I have the coin toss app ready. Call it heads or tails.
Heads.
Heads. Let's see what we got here. It is tails. Gina goes first.
All right.
All right, so this is Mick Jagger and Rolling Stones trivia. First person to 3 points wins. Gina, this is your question.
Okay.
If you get it incorrectly, though, Tim gets a chance to steal your point away by answering it correctly. And then we go back and forth like that till we get to 3 points. Ready? Here we go, Gina. Let's see. Here is a line from a Rolling Stones song.
Okay.
He's telling me more and more about some useless information. What song is that? Is it A, Start Me Up, B, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, C, Miss You, or D, Beast of Burden?
B.
Can't get no satisfaction?
Yep.
That is correct.
Gina goes ahead 1-0. It's Tim controlling the question.
Tim,
All right.
which famous artist designed the cover of the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers album in addition to the brand's famous lips and tongue logo? Which famous artist? Was it A, Andy Warhol, B, Jackson Pollock, C, Helen Frankenheuer, or D, Pablo Picasso?
Let's go B.
Jackson Pollock, incorrect.
Andy
Gina.
Warhol.
Andy Warhol.
Andy Warhol is correct. Gina goes ahead 2-0, and Gina controls the question. Chance to sweep
Let's
this
wrap
game.
this up.
Let's wrap it up.
Mick Jagger credits that he got his unique rustic voice after what happened? A, a terrible flu he had as a child. B, a Chuck Berry voice lesson tape. C, biting off a bit of his tongue. Or D, angering a witch.
See, I don't. This is going to be a total guess. I don't know this. B.
A Chuck Berry voice lesson?
Sure.
Incorrect.
No?
All right,
Tim.
Tim, your chance to crawl back into this game.
All right. Let's go with C.
Biting off a bit of his tongue? Is
yeah, sure.
that
let's
your
go with
answer?
that.
That is correct.
That's correct, Tim. You have climbed into the game. It's 2-1, and Tim, you control the question.
Let's see. Gina.
No,
Tim
it's
controls
Oh,
the
Tim
question.
controls the question.
Chance to tie it up.
All right, Tim.
Oh, it's Tib.
Tib. What song did the Rolling Stones have to change the lyrics to when performing it on the Ed Sullivan Show due to the lyrical content? Was it A, let's spend the night together, B, under my thumb, C, get off of my cloud, or D, wild horses?
A.
That's correct, Tim.
That's correct.
It is 2-2.
Oh,
Gina controls the
man.
question. By the way, they changed the lyric to "Let's spend some time together" instead of "the night together."
Gina,
Yeah.
according to the Rolling Stones, what color is the door they want to paint in the hit song Paint It Black? Is it A, green, B, red, C, black, or D, navy blue?
It does navy
What?
blue doesn't work. I see a navy blue door and I wanna paint it black. It's red.
Red is correct.
That's correct. A red door, and they wanted to paint it black. Gina wins the game with 3-2. So sorry, Tim.
Sorry,
you get
Tim.
no prizes.
Tim,
You
bring
get-
bring those geodes down for little Mrs. Johnny.
Okay, I will do.
And you know what?
Does that mean you're going to give Tim the prizes anyway?
Well, he's coming down here anyway.
He's got a point.
I
I
see.
may as well give him the Ogden Twilight and Prohibition gift card prizes.
All
You would
right.
make my girlfriend a very happy woman if
All
you
right.
gave me those.
All right, Tim, hang on. We'll get your information. Stand by. All right?
Those were awfully easy questions.
I warned
Is there
you.
another one there?
Well, they're all too easy.
Carrie Fisher once described a time when the Rolling Stones got her and Harrison Ford so drunk that they were still drunk the next morning while filming which Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back?
That is correct.
That would be correct.
All right.
Yeah. All because it's Mick Jagger's birthday. We could have done anything else.
Yeah, we could have done anything else. But
It
there
was
we go.
fine.
Could have done Gary Sharon's birthday.
Yeah, there's no trivia there. Right? Crash eastbound I-80 at milepost 35. This is in Tooele County, affecting the median there. A brush fire next to the on-ramp from Union Park Avenue to go westbound I-215 has the right side of the ramp closed. Traffic is getting by on the left shoulder. Crash I-15 southbound at Point of the Mountain. And on-ramp from State Street to go westbound I-80. Crash there. Find an alternate I-80 westbound to I-15 201 freeway. That's traffic.
All right, thank you.
Let's see. We've got bonus round one coming up. Here are your candidates. Boner candidate number 1, Your Honor, it was only outer course. Boner candidate number 2, there were complaints. And boner candidate number 3, they said it was a judgment-free zone. So there are your candidates. No, speaking of judgment-free zone, I bet you the advocates will always get you a judgment.
Absolutely.
You know,
In your favor?
in your favor, because they are terrific personal injury attorneys. I mean, you think, so I've been in an accident, things are not going my way, why should I call the advocates? What can they do that I can't? Well, they got 20 years of experience of dealing with this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They know what they're doing, how to handle insurance companies to get you the settlement you deserve. So don't try to go it alone, because the insurance companies are way more practiced than you at keeping their money.
Yeah, keeping your money.
Yeah. So if you've been injured in a car accident or any other kind of an accident and you don't know where to turn for help, we would suggest the advocates. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to answer your questions, talk to you about your potential injury case. You can give them a call anytime, 801-355-5550 or UtahAdvocates.com. And remember, they don't charge you anything unless they get you a settlement. So do it, UtahAdvocates.com.
You better get your ass to the X96 Toyota Big Ass Show, Saturday, September 1st.
Presenting to you 3 news stories that are examples of bad, stupid, or funny human behavior. You'll listen to all 3 of these candidates, and you'll decide which one is the worst and therefore most qualified to go forward to Boner Fight and get that 50-50 chance of becoming Boner of the Day. If it wins here, it'll go up against the winner of round 2's voting. That happens at 8:20 with 3 more candidates. So then we take the winners of each round, those 2 rounds. Boner Fight happens at 9:20. That's when you decide Boner of the Day. So, 2 candidates now, a third after the news. Once you've heard all 3, then you'll vote, and one of you lucky random Boner voters will receive
a Boner t-shirt, courtesy of Excel Automotive Repair. Radio from Hell's official auto mechanics. Don't buy a lemon. Try Excel Automotive's $50 bumper-to-bumper used car checkover before you buy. Limit 2 cars per $50.
Here's Boner candidate number 1. It was only outer course, Your Honor. The lawyer for former Stanford University swimmer Brock Turner, who was jailed for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman, argued that his client's conviction should be overturned because he only wanted outer course with the woman. Attorney Eric Molthop told the California Appeals Court in San Jose on Tuesday that Turner had his clothes on when he was caught by a pair of Swedish grad students on top of a half-naked, intoxicated woman behind a dumpster. Molthop explained to the 3-judge panel that outer course is sexual contact while fully clothed. In response to his argument, Justice Franklin Elia said,
"What?
I don't understand what you're talking about."
And your client only served, what, 3 months for this?
And said, listen, law requires that the jury verdict be honored. We're not in a position to say you should have gone a different way.
Oh, but
you're
Your
saying
Honor,
the jury made unreasonable inferences?
Your Honor, this poor kid, this conviction's going to follow him for the rest of his life.
Well, what about her?
Outer course, Your Honor. Brock Turner is required to register for life as a sex offender. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail, released for good behavior after serving 3. Boner candidate number 1. It was only outer course, Your Honor. This is Boner candidate number 2. There were complaints. St. George, actually Hurricane, I believe. Workers at a Southern Utah library say that they were pressured to remove buttons and other displays highlighting LGBT-themed materials because they were seen as controversial. Joel Tucker, the director that oversees library branches in Washington County, says the buttons and displays at Hurricane Library drew complaints from upset visitors. Jeez. Library employees who placed the displays and wore the buttons said, we didn't get any complaints.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Oh.
We didn't get any complaints. Nobody said anything to us. They say the LGBT-themed displays were similar to those that they put up for St. Patrick's Day, for polygamy, for Black History Month.
But this one makes me uncomfortable.
No, apparently there were no complaints. I love this name. Ammon Treasure said last week that the intention behind the Pride Month displays was to show that the library is a safe place to learn more about the topic. That's why we did it. And it was gay, it was gay pride. And that's so simple as that. And we didn't get any complaints. Oh no. Joel Tucker, who oversees the library, said there were complaints. There were upset visitors.
Maybe Joel was upset.
Yeah. Boner candidate number 2. There were complaints. Coming up in a moment, boner candidate number 3. They said it was a judgment-free zone.
All right, we got boner candidate number 3 for round 1 coming up after this big boy news and opinioendo. Brought to you by
Utah presents the 2018-19 season with performances curated for the culturally curious. Single tickets on sale July 31st. Buy before August 20th and pay no fees. Info and tickets at utahpresents.org.
Lauren Cohen, Walking Dead, is in a contract dispute with the show.
That Maggie?
She said she wanted a pay increase. She said her request for a pay increase is standard business practice, which came while she was negotiating a new contract with the show. It wasn't actually that I was asking for it. It was that my contract had finished, Cohen said, so that's pretty standard renegotiation. Cohen went on to say that she's hoping to explore comedy and happier fare, like her upcoming ABC spy dramedy Whiskey Cavalier, but she also reassured fans that the salary dispute does not mean the end for her Walking Dead character, Maggie. She's still focused on working on the show, she said.
Okay.
My Walking Dead story is open. It's not finished. You don't break up with someone and forget about them and delete them from your life. No, things transition into different places. She's reportedly only going to appear in a handful of episodes in The Walking Dead's upcoming season. Of course, Andrew Lincoln, Rick, has said he's leaving.
And they just gave Daryl a ton of money.
I hope he spends it on soap.
On his new contract.
It's going to be more Daryl focused.
Yeah, so
That's not good.
That's not good at all.
No.
Maggie is your best actress on there next to Denai Guerrero.
Anyway.
All the women are excellent actresses on that show.
President Trump and Vladimir Putin, he said he's invited him to come to the White House. Well, they've retracted the invitation. It's an invitation, by the way, that had not been accepted.
Yeah. Who broke up with who first?
Putin won't be dropping by the White House in the fall. National Security Advisor John Bolton said in a statement that President Trump now believes that a follow-up meeting between himself and the Russian leader should take place after the Russia witch hunt is over. So every year Russia has a big witch hunt.
They do?
They go out and
you have to get your witch tag.
And and then you have to stop by a sexing station to make sure because you can only take the female witches.
No warlocks.
No warlocks. So every year, the kids get out of school. They say it's to help with the harvest, but no, we all know they go on the witch hunt.
I know you don't like witch meat, but my witch jerky is the best witch jerky you'll ever. Now, I know you don't usually eat it, but just try mine.
No, I don't care for witch meat.
Witch meat?
Witch meat? Let's see. Police in Caldwell, Idaho have issued an Amber Alert for an 11-year-old girl they say they believe to be in danger. Idaho police are asking the public's help in looking for the 11-year-old girl. Her name is Ayla Niel Vesterby. She was last seen in Caldwell, Idaho. She's described as being white, blonde hair, blue eyes, 5 feet to 70 pounds. Authorities believe that she may be in the company of Kelly James Vesterby. I guess that's that her dad. Doesn't say here, but they are missing. Sounds like it's a dad and a daughter, but it's a custodial. That's all the details that are in this story, but it sounds like one of those custodial things. A man willfully and deliberately with premeditation opened fire during services last Sunday at a Mormon church in Fallon, Nevada. Killed one man, wounded the victim's brother, according to an indictment unsealed yesterday. Still no motive. John O'Connor in court yesterday for the first time, didn't enter a plea, charged with first-degree murder in the killing of 61-year-old Charles E. Burt Miller, a longtime volunteer firefighter in rural Fallon, Nevada, and with battery with a deadly weapon in the shooting of Miller's 64-year-old brother. The Lahontan Valley News reports O'Connor showed no emotion during an appearance in in the courtroom. Don't know that, again, he walked into he lives across the street from the church, walked into the church and shot the two.
I mean, it didn't seem random. It seemed...
O'Connor, who is 48, ran unsuccessfully for the state assembly as a libertarian in 2010 and again in 2014. Yeah, don't know why he did it. He's being held on $1 million bail.
And on the third day, God created the Remington bolt-action rifle so that man could fight the dinosaurs and the homosexuals.
Authorities said that they're waiting for an official autopsy to determine how a South Jordan man who went missing in the Uinta Mountains, how he actually died. The body of Ray Humphreys was located by helicopter in the Middle Fork drainage, about 1.5 miles from where he was last seen, near Hidden Lake. The terrain did not allow the helicopter to land at the time, so what they had to do was guide the ground crew to that location. They reached the body and were able to make a positive identification. No signs of foul play, anything like that, so an autopsy is called for. Seems odd that he was about 1.5 miles from the camp. He went to get some water to put out the campfire. So going to go down to the lake, get some water. That's the last time they saw him.
This says the Amber Alert girl was found.
Oh, did that come through?
All
right.
Somebody in the chat rooms.
Okay. So you don't have to keep your eyes out. A lawsuit accusing President Trump of violating the Constitution by maintaining a financial interest in his company's Washington hotel has cleared a critical hurdle when a federal judge said, yes, I'll allow the case to move forward. In the first judicial opinion to define how the meaning of the Constitution's anti-corruption clauses should apply to the president, Judge Peter Messett of the United States District Court said framers' language, should be broadly construed as an effort to protect against influence peddling by state and foreign governments. He ruled that the lawsuit should proceed to the evidence-gathering stage, which could clear the way for an examination of financial records that the president has consistently refused to disclose. The Justice Department is expected to forestall that by seeking an emergency stay and appealing the ruling. So what do you think? So Donald Trump does not appear to be afraid of almost anything. Saying anything, acting in any particular way. What do you think? Is there something that he's really afraid of?
Yeah, I said it over and over again. People finding out that he is not as rich as he wants everybody to think he is.
Would that be enough if he had to release that kind of information, or if he had to release that kind of information, would it be enough, you think, for him to say, to not do that, I will resign?
Maybe.
I will resign the presidency before I'll do that.
Because he clearly, a sex scandal does not upset him in the slightest. He does not care about that. What he cares about is the perception that he is an extremely wealthy person. And where he's a wealthy person, I think if his tax returns were released and we really knew what his business dealings were, he's teetering on bankruptcy, and he doesn't want anybody to know that.
Well, he doesn't pay for anything with his own money. He gets other people to pay for things, and we're going to find out that most of it has come from Russia.
So who knows this? Vladimir Putin knows it, and Robert Mueller knows it.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Mueller maybe knows that that's his Achilles heel. And when that information, when it's all gathered, and when he says, I'm now going to release this,
it may be enough for him to save face. His ego is so big. I think to save face, he would finally say, step down.
Tremendous amount of money, tremendous cash flow. I have a store that's worth more money than Mitt Romney. And they said he's probably not as rich as people think. And it turned out I'm much richer, right? You see.
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to go to Boner candidate number 3 here in a second, but I do want you to know that the United States has a 2.5 billion pound surplus of meat.
What kind of meat?
It's meat. I hope it's hot dog meat. U.S. dairy producers now have 1.39 billion pounds of surplus cheese. So we've got
There are
more
hungry
meat.
people in the world. Can we send it to
Yeah,
them?
can we give it to the
We
hungry people?
We could.
We should.
I should have a steak for dinner.
The meat stockpile and the cheese stockpile, but I don't know why. I'm not sure. Because they're waiting for the market to get better. That's why.
Okay.
All right.
Weather traffic.
You don't have to meet a creepy guy in a parking lot to get a great deal on a smartphone. Bad Apple buys, sells, and trades refurbished phones. Unlike the parking lot guy, they guarantee all devices. Go to badapplerepair.com. Much like yesterday, 96 for a high today. Traffic, let's see. I want to remind you about that road closure beginning today, 13th East from 13th South to 21st South. So lucky you Westminster people, 'cause that goes right in front of there. Closures for water main repairs will continue through January 2019. So lots of issues there. Signal problems, Harrison Boulevard, 22nd Street in Ogden. Crash eastbound I-80 milepost 35, that's in Tooele County. Fire affecting the roadway, the on-ramp westbound I-215 south at Union Park Avenue. Traffic is using the shoulder to get by there. And King Nico is back with a brand new record Friday, July 27th at Urban Lounge. Ticket proceeds will benefit Planned Parenthood. Doors open at 8 with performances by Seas on Sapphire and Andrew Goldring. Don't miss King Nico, July 27th at Urban Lounge.
All right, here's boner candidate number 3. They said it was a judgment-free zone. Police say that Eric Stagno of Haverhill, New Hampshire, stripped naked in a crowded gym over the weekend. He did yoga poses at a crowded Planet Fitness, but he did learn the limits of the chain's judgment-free zone philosophy. He was arrested at the Planet Fitness in Plaistow, New Hampshire, shortly after 1:30 p.m. Officers arrived. They found him there completely nude, on his knees in a yoga-type position.
Yeah.
He walked into the gym, stripped down at the door, and then proceeded to walk back and forth a couple of times before settling in on the yoga mats. The gym was crowded at the time, but Mr. Stagno kept to himself. He checked himself out in the mirror, made his way over to the yoga mats, seemingly unaware that those around him were perturbed. Some of the comments some witnesses gave were that they felt uncomfortable, disgusted, sick, and unsafe. There were more witnesses coming forward than we could take names. Mr. Stagno did have some drug paraphernalia in his possession when he was arrested, but it was not clear if he was under the influence. I think it's clear. He was charged with indecent exposure and lewdness and disorderly conduct. The only thing he told the officers was, "I thought this was a judgment-free zone." He actually said that to them. Boner candidate number 3. They said it was a judgment-free zone.
All right, let's review the first two and vote.
So boner candidate number 1, it was only outer course, Your Honor. Brock Turner, who sexually assaulted an unconscious woman and served some jail time for it. His lawyer's trying to appeal his sentence. He says that my client only committed outer course, Your Honor. His clothes were on the whole time. How can that possibly be sexual assault? Boner candidate number 2, there were complaints. Utah library workers down in Washington County were told to remove LGBT-themed displays from the library. The director of the library services down there said there were complaints about it. The library workers said, we didn't ever hear any complaints. And boner candidate number 3, they said it was a judgment-free zone.
All right, here we go. This is round 1 of your boner voting. You've got to decide, of these 3 candidates, which one do you think is the worst? Which one do you think should go forward to boner fight and get that chance to become boner of the day? So if it wins here, it's got to defeat the winner of round 2's voting. That happens at 8:20 with 3 more candidates. Then we take the 2 rounds winners and throw them into the boner fight. That happens at 9:20. That's when boner of the day is decided. So 1, 2, or 3, put the candidate number you think should win in the message of a text. Text that to 33986. Call 877-602-9696 or go to x96.com. Look for the box that says boner voting July 26. Here we go.
Stay tuned for a 1-hour nonstop music wing day.
Review movies, but first we got to award round one of your boners.
And round one of the boner voting is brought to you in part by Taco.
Taco,
Yeah.
one taco.
Couple.
And taco?
A couple.
Oh, okay.
And they were really tostadas.
And Wednesday, go out and celebrate this evening. No? It's Thursday.
Yeah, it is Thursday.
Yeah.
So,
Nick.
what?
He just gave me the Wednesday copy for Gracie. But it's always a good time to go to
Sure.
Gracie's. Doesn't matter the night.
No, there's stuff going on over there every night of the week.
They have live music. They have games.
They have live music every night at Gracie's.
Adults only.
Yeah. So we had boner candidate number one. It was only outer course, Your Honor. Outer course. This is Brock Turner's attorney trying to get his sentence overturned so that, I guess, to get the sex offender label probably taken off, saying,
Poor kid that's going to follow him everywhere.
He had his clothes on when he sexually assaulted that unconscious woman behind a dumpster. Boner candidate number two. There were complaints. Utah library workers told to remove LGBT-themed displays down there in Hurricane Library and other, I'm not sure if it was all the libraries in Washington County, but the library in Hurricane, the workers there said, well, we didn't have any complaints, but the library director insists there were complaints about this LGBTQ stuff. And then boner candidate number three, they said it was a judgment-free zone. A man who stripped naked in a crowded New Hampshire Planet Fitness and did indeed say to the police when they arrested him, listen, they said it was a judgment-free zone here. I thought I could do nude yoga. Jenny won a boner T-shirt, and the voting was just very evenly distributed. but winning in the long run. Boner candidate number 2, There Were Complaints.
All right, there you go. That's your winner of round 1. It now has a 50-50 chance of becoming Boner of the Day. It has to go up against the winner of round 2. Yes, we're going to do it again at 8:20 with 3 more candidates, 3 different ones. And then we'll take the winner of each round, put them into the Boner fight at 9:20, and that is when you will decide Boner of the Day.
I got the copy for Gracie's, and I'm glad I did because this is something new. Remember those late nights at Porticall?
Yes, I do.
It's now.
I remember some of them.
It's now the federal building over here. Well, you can bring them back tonight at Gracie's. They're having a Porticall reunion party.
Really?
Celebrate the memories created and create new ones, featuring live music by Mocha Joe. Mocha Joe used to play
They
at
used to play Porticall all the time.
Yeah.
7 to 10, followed by DJ Birdman from 10 to close, adults only.
That's funny.
There you go.
All right.
Now we have movies.
Movies.
Brought to you by, if you're a fan of the summer blockbuster movie, come in and pick up stories featuring your favorite characters. Dr. Bolts has a huge selection of graphic novels starring Deadpool, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Han Solo, and more at Dr. Bolts.
Well, here's the man himself, Sean P. Means, who is a writer and reporter for the Salt Lake Tribune. He's also a movie critic. You can read Sean's stories in the Salt Lake Tribune at sltrib.com. His movie reviews you'll hear here on the radio. There is also a link to the movie reviews at x96.com. And Sean has his own website as well. What is that?
Moviecricket.net.
All right.
All right.
Sean here with some movies. What do we got?
We always go artsies and then fartsies. We go from worst to first. Where do we start with the artsies?
We will start with Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot.
Gus Van Sant.
Gus Van Sant. This is the biography of John Callahan, famous iconoclastic cartoonist in the 80s, 90s, and so on. Played here by Joaquin Phoenix. This has been a passion project of Gus Van Sant's for a couple of decades. He was developing it with Callahan himself before Callahan died in 2010, and at one point was going to have Robin Williams play. Callahan.
Really?
It's a story of how Callahan developed his cartooning and his art, which is very sort of Gary Larson, but even more politically incorrect. But it's mostly about his days as an alcoholic and quadriplegic. And how one helped create the other, because he was severely injured in a car crash that happened because he was bar hopping with some guy trying to find new and different places to get drunk. I was wanting this movie to be better than it was, because
An interesting subject.
A very interesting subject, and I love Callahan's cartoons.
Yeah, you got a good cast too.
Got a good cast, but it falls into so many of the very traditional watching a guy being an alcoholic tropes.
So we've seen this before.
You've seen that before, and you've seen the let's watch an actor do the mechanics of being a quadriplegic before. You've seen that as well.
Yeah.
What's interesting, and why this is sort of on the fence for me, is that it actually does go further in depicting recovery and the 12 steps.
Okay.
Most movies, the first AA meeting is the last scene in the movie, right?
Yeah.
This one it goes a little further and actually shows that it's a process, not an epiphany, and has a really great performance by Jonah Hill as Callahan's sponsor, who helps guide him through the recovery process, and it's probably the best thing I've seen Jonah Hill ever do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So split decision there, 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars for Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot.
I'm just looking at some of Callahan's cartoons. They're really crudely drawn, but they're very funny.
They're crudely drawn because what little use he has of his hands because of the spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
But my favorite of all time is the sign outside the mental hospital that says "Do not disturb any further."
I like
That's
that.
good.
So what do we have next?
Blind Spotting.
Blind Spotting.
This was the opening night at Sundance this year. This is
okay.
Daveed Diggs, who, if you have your Hamilton CD, he was Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. And Rafael Casal. They have been best friends for years. They work together in Oakland. They do spoken word stuff. This is their movie. They star in it. They wrote it. and it is a story of two friends. One of them, played by Diggs, is got 3 days left on his parole, and he's trying to stay straight and narrow and not let anything bad happen. And when you've got a friend like Miles, who's played by Casal, that's not easy.
No,
because he's a troublemaker, and the movie is about that relationship. It's also about how trying to sort of stay straight in a urban city that has, police violence and other things. Plus the yuppies are coming, and gentrification in Oakland.
Okay.
The yuppies are coming.
And it's all that rolled into one with the sort of spoken word poetry that these guys do. The final scene, Diggs has this final soliloquy that is just astonishing, and it's really worth it just for that. This is powerful stuff and gets into a lot of issues that matter right now.
Mm-hmm.
So 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars for Blind Spotting. So that means 8th grade.
8th grade. This is also at Sundance, and this was another of my favorites from the festival this year. Bo Burnham, who's a comedian.
We've had him on the show.
He's got a great YouTube following. I had never heard of him, but my 15-year-old was like, Bo Burnham's coming to Sundance, and I got to look cool in front of my kid because I got like 4 seconds of video of me with Bo Burnham that I sent to my kid, and that's like, I'm cool dad for a day. This is possibly one of the best looks at adolescence that you've ever seen. You have this girl, Kayla, played by Elsie Fisher, who's this amazing young actress. She is just finishing middle school, about to go to high school, after the summer.
It's an awkward time.
A very awkward time, and she is, she makes these little YouTube videos about self-esteem and self-confidence and so on that nobody watches, but in school nobody realizes she's there. She's voted most quiet. Wow. And it's about her. This whole movie is about her awkwardness and trying to sort of navigate these things. Where the worst thing that another kid can do to you isn't bullying, isn't harm. I mean, those happen, but the worst thing is to be ignored.
Yeah.
And to be completely dismissed. And you got to love the way that how this 30-year-old comedian channels this 8th grade girl's life is astonishing. Partly he had the actress's help, Elsie Fisher's help, because she sort of served as technical advisor as well as the lead actor.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It is heartbreaking. It is so true to life to what it is to be a young girl growing up in the age of social media.
What possessed Bo to make this movie? I wonder.
That's interesting.
Yeah, why would a man make this movie? I don't know.
I think he sort of saw the opportunity for both comedy and commentary. So.
All right, so
3.5.
3.5. Those are the artsies. We'll get to the fartsies after these, including the new Mission Impossible movie and Teen Titans Go. Stand by for all of that.
Eastbound US 6 at US 89 in Utah County, there's debris. I don't know what kind of debris. If you report debris, tell me what it is. Signal problems, Harrison Boulevard, 22nd Street in Ogden. Crash southbound I-15 milepost 310, that's 10th North in Salt Lake, off to the right shoulder. Elevate your summer at Snowbird, offering daily activities like the aerial tram, mountain coaster, and all-new Woodward Rectangle. Pre-purchase your all-day activity pass online at snowbird.com.
KXRK Provo.
The Ram Summer Clearance event is here, and it's time to get to work. But you understand that hard work is about more than building something from...
Here's what Kerry Jackson is doing when he's not on the air.
Captain's log, stardate 2233.1. I am all alone on the bridge of the Enterprise. Some sort of mysterious cosmic ray has vaporized my entire crew. I may be the only one left alive. Wait, who's there?
It's me, Captain.
Yeoman Rand. Yeoman Rand, thank God you're alive.
Yes, Captain, and I feel so safe knowing you're still here. You know I've always been attracted to you. Let's make love right here on the bridge.
Oh, come on, Sharon. You're not saying it like you mean it.
Carrie, I hate this game. Can't we just have sex like normal people?
Oh, come on, Sharon. You know that this is the only way I can get it up.
I hate this costume. This wig looks like a woven basket on my head, and the 2 folding chairs and a card table does not make the bridge of the Enterprise.
What?
Turn off the sound effects. I'm leaving.
Oh, okay. If you don't like this game, how about we play the Battlestar Galactica game? I'll be Boxy, and you can be my little robot buddy, Muffet.
Oh, God.
Help, Muffy, help! I'm trapped and the Cylons are coming!
Here's what Bill Allred's doing when he's not on the air.
Henrietta Pussycat, you may approach your king!
Meow, 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 King Friday. How I've longed for this moment. Meow, meow. Are you sure Queen Sarah is away?
Quite. The trollop is off somewhere in the land of make-believe with Bob Dog. My spies tell me that the 2 of them are mating like a pair of crazed weasels in rut.
Then now is our chance, my liege. Meow. Take me here, meow. Now, right in the throne room.
Come on, Sharon, you're not getting into this at all.
Well, Bill, you look pretty stupid in that bathrobe, fake beard, and Burger King crown. And wearing those white socks on your hands to make them look like puppets is just not working. Can't we just do it in the normal way?
Oh, come on, Sharon, you know I can't get it up the normal way. Okay. If you can't do this, how's about the Sesame Street game? Now, I'm going to be Bert, and you can be Ernie.
Ernie, bend over and pick up that bar of soap I dropped this morning, would ya?
Look with Gina Barberi on X96.
X96 is proud to present the Never Ending Summer Unity Tour 2018 featuring The Offspring, 311, and Gym Class Heroes this Friday, July 27th at USANA Amphitheater. Purchase your tickets at all SmithTix outlets and SmithTix.com, or right now you can send a keyword to 33986. The keyword is annual, ANNUAL, annual. Send that to 33986.
And is there a sponsor for the movies?
No, that's it.
All right.
All right, we're back with Sean Means now. Sean Means, the entertainment reporter, feature reporter, digital
life reporter.
Digital life reporter for the Salt Lake Tribune. sltrib.com is where you find those stories, and he also reviews movies. You can find all of those. I guess just go to moviecricket.org.
.net.
.net. All right, so
now these next two movies.
Either way.
Yeah.
We get to go either way.
Let's start with Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
I'm surprised about this.
Teen Titans Go, ! To the movies.
To the movies.
Comic book geeks, are tough customers, as we know, because they complain about everything.
Which they shouldn't be because it's all about them now. And
it's all about them. It's all about them. But they want it all, and they're annoying. And I don't want to play with them anymore.
Yeah.
But this
there are days.
Teen Titans Go, for those that don't know, is on Cartoon Network, has been on for the last few years. It is a silly, funny, Nickelodeon-esque, SpongeBob-esque take on the DC Comics characters.
I've never watched it.
And it's pretty dang funny, especially if you're 9. But or if you have that inner 9-year-old. But there are still this contingent of people who will not forgive Cartoon Network and DC for taking off a decade earlier the more serious Teen Titans animated series.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, those fans
get over it, people.
Those fans are going to get a serious live-action Teen Titans on the new DC streaming service.
Right.
So that'll make them happy.
I've seen the ones that
Yeah.
But where Robin Graffiti's, hug Batman.
Yeah. But this package people love.
Yes, it is. And we have here the 5. It's Robin the Boy Wonder is the leader. We've got Cyborg, Raven, Starfire, and Beast Boy, all cool characters.
Okay.
So, but they spend more time sort of dancing and joking than they do actually fighting crime. And this has been noticed by the other superheroes, and they tell them that they're considered more jokesters than real superheroes. And when every superhero is getting his or her own or their own movie, the Teen Titans still don't have a movie. And this bothers Robin especially.
Of course.
And because Batman got a movie. Now Alfred's getting a movie.
Yeah.
The Batmobile's getting a movie. The utility belt is getting a movie.
Well, I don't blame him for being upset then.
But so Robin is determined we're going to get a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to get a movie, something, and so they're told, okay, to be a good superhero, you need a good arch nemesis. So they find an arch nemesis in this guy named Slade.
Yes,
and one of the things that makes him a good arch nemesis is, as they say, his name sounds really cool to say when it's slow and menacingly.
Slade.
But they have trouble taking him seriously as an arch nemesis because they swear he's Deadpool.
Well, it's Slade Wilson.
Yeah.
Who is what's Deadshot?
I can't remember now.
Yeah,
something like that.
Well, you see, he existed before Deadpool. Deadpool is a parody of that character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So well, now
it's even more.
This is really self-referential.
Now it's rolled back, and this movie is exceedingly self-referential, and that's where a lot of the humor comes in. It is basically mocking the whole process of superhero movies and the fanboys who complain about them.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to be able to laugh at themselves when they?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, because they'll go and they'll say, "Oh, that's not me. I'm not like that."
No, those other people.
Yeah.
Who do the exact same things I do. But yes, this gets into the special effects, the celebrity cameos, and it crosses corporate brands.
Yes.
There's as much Marvel jokes here as there are DC jokes,
Okay.
which is hilarious and fascinating. And this is funny. And if you're it's funny for 9-year-olds who like the Teen Titans in this iteration because it's funny, silly, cartoony. But it's also, if you are a comic book aficionado or a comic book movie aficionado, you get all the jokes and you get the deep cuts, and it's worth it for that too.
Okay.
So 3.5 stars.
3.5 stars for Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
I'm shocked.
Spent my Saturday morning and I was like, okay, this is much better than I thought it was going to be.
All right. So, Mission Impossible Fallout.
Mission Impossible Fallout. Okay, there's a question that comes up in this movie, which is, when exactly did Tom Cruise become the American Jackie Chan?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Good question.
Where he's willing to do his own stunts and throw himself into into these things. And in this movie, this is the 6th of the Mission Impossible franchise, and he just throws himself in. He broke his ankle. Doing a jumping from a building between buildings.
They show that in the trailer, actually.
And they had to take 8 weeks off from filming to let him heal up.
They show that?
They used the scene in the movie. The scene survived the cut. But he also learned. There's a thing called halo jumping, which is like high altitude skydiving. He does that, and you see that. I mean, they set up the cameras to make sure you understand Tom Cruise did all this stuff by himself. He also spent 1.5 years learning how to fly a helicopter for the chase scene for the big chase scene toward the end of the movie.
I'm surprised that they allow him.
Insurance companies must be going nuts.
I was going to say that the cost on this movie for insurance alone, it set the production really high, and his accident pushed the production back.
but it's all insured.
Yeah.
Now they won't insure the next one, probably. I don't know, or they'll charge much more for the insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackie Chan at one point was blacklisted by every insurance company in Hong Kong because nobody would touch it.
Yep.
But for these movies, Tom Cruise he is so gung ho about wanting to show he's doing these things, and he's busting a gut and not nearly killing himself for your entertainment.
Does this make it a good movie?
Weirdly enough, yes. This is probably I think the most action packed and most exciting of the 6.
That's what I've heard.
And it's also has the team dynamic probably better than most, because you've got the team is him, Ving Rhames, and Simon Pegg. Ving Rhames drives the car, and Simon Pegg is the tech guy, right? He's the computer hacker guy. And this time you have the same villain. You have the continuation of the villain from the last movie, this anarchist ex MI6 dude who was captured at the end of the last movie, but now his acolytes called the Apostles are going out amongst all over the world causing havoc, and they get their hands on some plutonium. Yeah, that ain't good. That ain't good. And so.
Do they get it from the Iranians in a mall parking lot?
That was the Libyans.
The Libyans.
You have to get this. If you're gonna come up with a cheesy reference, at least get it right. I mean, Carrie's standing right here.
I know. She get
she's on drugs.
She is. She's on medication right now.
Okay. So the big key here is that when they have to get the plutonium back, the CIA doesn't trust Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, and the IMF.
I don't either.
So the CIA director, played by Angela Bassett, brings in her own guy, a assassin / agent, played by Henry Cavill, in a mustache.
Yes.
And we're all familiar with Henry Cavill and his mustache because it had to be CG'd out of Justice League. Not
because
particularly.
Superman doesn't have a mustache,
and God forbid he shave.
That was a whole.
Actually, not God. The Paramount Legal Department.
There's a paper that says you can't.
Forbid it.
Yeah, they did it just to be dicks.
They did. They really did. Anyhow, I can't look at his mustache without thinking back to Justice League.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we've all seen the scene of Henry Cavill, reloading his arms to punch things. This is exciting. Cavill's cool. Tom Cruise is cool. Everybody in this movie is cool.
Yeah.
We also bring back the women in Ethan Hunt's life. We have his ex-girlfriend Michelle Monaghan from 3 movies back.
Yeah, she's great.
And we have Rebecca Ferguson, who was in the last movie as this rogue MI6 agent who's trying to get back in the good graces of MI6. All kinds of cool people, all kinds of cool stuff. It's a tad long. It's like 2.5 hours.
Really?
But it mostly flies by, and it's really cool. So lots of fun. 3.5 stars.
3.5 for Mission Impossible Fallout. Let's run these down. Don't worry, he won't get far on foot. 2.5 stars. Blind Spotting, 3.5. A lot of good movies out this week. Blind Spotting, 3.5 stars. 8th Grade, 3.5 stars. Teen Titans Go to the Movies, 3.5 stars. And Mission Impossible Fallout, 3.5 stars.
Well, Sean Means, what do we have next week?
Next week, we got The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Oh, yes.
Comedy with Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon.
Mm-hmm. We have Christopher Robin, Disney, doing a
tearjerker,
a gloss on the Winnie the Pooh legend. And the one I'm interested in is the Darkest Minds, which is the YA dystopian future story with Amanda Stenberg, who was the girl in Everything, and was Rue in Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
All right, Sean, thank you. Find all of Sean's stuff, moviecricket.net, and read his stuff in the Salt Lake Tribune.
Got a crash westbound I-215 approaching 280 East. Exit in Midvale. 3 right lanes are blocked. The traffic is just getting by on 1 left lane, and traffic back to Union Park because of that. Crash southbound I-15 at 10th North in Salt Lake. Cars are on the right shoulder. Traffic back to the north interchange. And want to remind you about that 13th East closure. 13th South to 21st South on 13th East will have closures starting today. For water main repairs, the closures will continue through January 2019, so that will be a mess for a while. That's traffic brought to you by Movie Lovers. Download the new Broovies app for Android or Apple. Receive a 2-for-1 admission to Broovies' new location in Ogden. Must sign up 1 hour in advance of attendance to the theater. Get showtimes at broovies.com.
All right, bonus round 2 coming up. Here are your candidates. Boner candidate number 1, nurse in public? No recommend for you. Boner candidate number 2, that's what an Egyptian zebra looks like. And boner candidate number 3, it's Wizz Air, isn't it?
All right.
I whizzed.
Round 2 of the boners, along with Big Boy News coming up next. New Dwello Home.
Oh, Lolly up in Ogden area,
well,
Weber
you say
County.
It doesn't matter where it is.
No, it doesn't.
It's Wasatch Front.
But I'm proud of Weber County.
It's Wasatch Front getting down payment assistance on a home. And how do you get that down payment assistance? Well, you start off by texting the word money to 62687.
And Lolly and her New Dwello team send you back a little questionnaire. You answer those 7 questions, and that you're off. You're on your way to perhaps getting some down payment money, down payment assistance if you want to buy a home. Now, this doesn't have to be a brand new home. Doesn't have to be a first home. You don't have to be a first home, but it could even be a second home if you want to have another house, for your other wife or whatever. Text the word money to 62687. They will then take it from there, let you know how you qualify for some of this down payment assistance. There are some restrictions and qualifications that they'll make you aware of, but just text the word money to 62687.
I've got a show. I'll be playing Flynn in Twilight.
Light.
Light.
Lite.
Lite. Yep. I'm the bully.
Are you the wolf boy?
No.
You're not the wolf boy.
No, I wish. I pitched to be the guy who takes his shirt off at one point for no reason.
You love to take your shirt off.
I absolutely do.
Kind of like the Will Ferrell of this station.
Okay. But no, the show is I'm the only guy that looks like he could beat up another guy in all of theater in Utah. So
they're all pale, vegetarian.
Yeah, and thin. We had plenty of people who could play the vampire type, but not very many who could play the bully. I'll guilt you guys into that show another time.
I'm a shed vampire.
I'm the only one who goes to your plays anymore.
Oh, I went.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And Gina may come to this one because it's a Twilight spoof.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And we all know Gina loves Twilight.
The sparkly vampires.
Yeah. We got this.
Are you going to sparkle?
I don't sparkle because I'm not a vampire.
He's a bully.
But we
do have a sparkly vampire. You bet. And a Bela Lugosi vampire, too.
Undead.
So, like, there's this old-fashioned vampire.
Don't worry about
trying
it.
to figure out what the young vampires are.
What
I
is
don't
vampire
understand this.
You kids today.
I don't
with your
understand this.
sparkles
And you're fast running.
What is this? You can go outside.
What? Yeah. What? Can you see yourself in the mirror? That's what I want.
Look, have some wine. All right.
Guess we just sort of wrote the play, didn't we?
Is that it?
Wrote and ended.
And performed.
There you go. Kids, there's something the matter with kids today. Kids, they go and sparkle outside in the day.
There it is. Yep, little musical number. Yep.
Easy.
Desert Star Playhouse. Be there.
The shut'll come out tomorrow, and he'll be able to stand outside. I hate him. I miss the sun.
Oh,
You
Lord.
you owe Carrie money now.
I know.
I used to be tan, you know this. I had a house in Palm Beach. Aw, damn. Blow this. No, that doesn't. I'll get there.
Here comes the sun. You better run, you dumb old vampire.
We get
Deedle.
we sparkle. Da 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 da. Ah, you kids.
I like the dessert bar there at the Desert Star Playhouse.
Does the old vampire carry an umbrella? He should.
No, but that is a great idea.
Okay. You owe me a $1.
There's
and,
that
and
too.
Count
Oh,
Chocula.
yes, Count
Of course.
Chocula
Count
has to be in there.
Chocula's got to be there, and the Count, and
Doo.
oh, that joke's in there. You know it.
Yep.
Call 877-602-9696 or text us at 33986. Message and data rates apply.
All right. Remember that info. You're going to need it here in about 15 or 20 minutes from now when we get to the voting for round 2 of your boners. Presenting to you now 3 news stories that are examples of bad, stupid, or funny human behavior. You'll listen to these 3 and you'll decide, of these 3 candidates, which one should go forward to boner fight and get that chance to become boner of the day. If it wins here, it goes up against the winner of round 1. We did that last hour. So we'll take those 2 candidates and throw them into boner fight at 9:20. That's when boner of the day is decided. So pick your contender for round 2. 2 candidates now, a third after the news. Once you've heard all 3, you'll vote. One of you lucky random boner voters will receive.
We'll receive Reggae Rise Up tickets, which I need that information from you, Nick, if you can get it to me.
Here's boner candidate number 1. Nurse in public? No recommend for you. A young Mormon mother has been denied a temple recommend by her stake president for breastfeeding her child in public without a cover. The bishop of her ward called her in and gently explained that the members of the ward had complained to him about her breastfeeding at church without a cover. The ward members assumed that seeing her exposed breast was making it difficult for the young men in the church and also the recovering porn addicts to avoid impure thoughts. The bishop asked the woman to either cover up or nurse in the mother's room. When she informed her bishop that she wouldn't be changing her views or her behaviors about nursing on demand and uncovered, she thought the issue was over. By the way, this is from something website called The Exponent, which I think is for Mormon women.
I saw it on KUTV.
Yeah. The woman whose nursing baby had 3 other children. The woman, her nursing baby, her 3 other children, and her husband all participate in sacrament meeting services from the foyer. The breastfeeding takes place while seated in chairs in the foyer. This sister, so this is the way this is written, this sister, so it's written by a Mormon woman, is most comfortable in the foyer because she can still hear the meeting and participate in the audience, the ordinance, rather, of the sacrament while staying outside with her active children to avoid disrupting the meeting. The mother's room in her ward is accessed through the women's bathroom, and it's difficult for her husband to accompany there. It's too small to accommodate her other children. So she sits out in the, they set up chair. I remember this from a long time ago. They would set up chairs in the, as the Mormons call it, the foyer.
Lobby.
Yeah, the foyer. So that you can sit out there, and the kids are, if you have kids that are kind of noisy and.
Catholics have the cry room where they pipe in the.
Yeah,
they used to have that at some wards too. They'd have a glassed off area at the back. Remember that? I think they called it the cry room. 3 weeks later, she and her husband were called to her stake president's office, and they both took along their temple recommend paperwork to be signed. Now, Mormon people, if they want to go to the temple to do work there, very important work in the Mormon religion, you have to have what they call a recommend signed by your, stake president, or I guess, so that, yes, you've led a worthy life for the last 3 months, you can go to the temple. They sign it, and off you go. It's like a license to do temple work. And the stake president said, listen, I don't think I'm not going to give you your recommend unless you agree to stop breastfeeding in the foyer at the church, at your ward. And she said, I'm not going to do that. And she said, I'm going to go find a higher authority about this uncovered nursing. And he said, go ahead. I've already called Salt Lake.
Salt Lake?
They agree it's a
Don't
modesty
call Salt
issue.
Lake.
They agree that it's a modesty issue. This happened in Tacoma, I believe. No, Sacramento? Not Salt Lake.
They called the home office.
Then the stake president apparently, said to her husband, "Can't you get your woman in line?" Basically what he said. And her husband said, "Well, she's her own person, and she's going to do what she's going to do, and she's not. I don't have any say in this." And so the stake president said, "Well, I'm not going to give you a temple recommend either."
Now I know you made this a boner candidate.
Yeah.
And I read the story on KUTV, and you haven't mentioned the detail that made me question this.
What detail is that? Because I read this on this website.
So the baby's a year and a half old. So older baby. A toddler, a walking, talking person.
So this is going to get young men horny?
No, not that.
Is this going to be bad for the porn addicts?
No, I disagree with all of that. But I just, when they're the older, I just...
Boner candidate number one. Nurse in public, no recommend for you. You can include Gina in that if you like.
No,
Yeah, it's Gina's discomfort about it. You would have gone right to the bishop.
No,
I have no comment on this story.
I have no problem.
I know people will be mad at me for that, but it's just...
You would have been one of the biddies who went to the bishop.
No, I wouldn't.
You would have just fumed about it.
No.
You would have passed judgment on this woman. All right, here's boner candidate number two. Well, that's what an Egyptian zebra looks like.
This is a good candidate.
A zoo in Cairo has been caught trying to pass off a donkey as a zebra by painting it black and white. The animal sanctuary in the Egyptian capital's International Garden Municipal Park has recently opened, but one visitor spotted something odd about the exhibit. Student Mahoud A. Sarhani visited the zoo and took pictures of the odd-looking zebra. The creature had unusually long ears and lacked the distinctive mane usually present on African zebras. A closer inspection revealed that the creature was, in fact, a painted donkey.
And the color's starting to run a little bit.
Mahoud shared a photo of the so-called zebra on Facebook.
There's a picture of it at x96.com/live. It's clearly a donkey.
The zoo has denied that the donkey is a fake. Its suspiciously long ears and lack of distinctive mane. No. That's an Egyptian zebra. That's the way they look. Boner candidate number 2. Coming up in a moment, boner candidate number 3. It's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed.
Boner candidate number 3 for round 2. Coming up after this, big boy news and a Pinuendo brought to you by.
Get unlimited 1.5% cash back plus a $100 bonus. Power cashback credit card from Security Service Federal Credit Union. Restrictions apply. Get details at ssfcu.org.
I'm not even going to do this story, Gina. Risk of getting you upset about 2 moms who were scolded and asked to leave public pool for breastfeeding. I'm not going to, in Minnesota. I'll just move on. The Republicans have launched a bid to remove the Department of Justice official overseeing the Russia inquiry. House of Representative conservatives have filed articles of impeachment in an effort to oust Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. The articles were introduced by Representative Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan, who accuse him of stonewalling their requests for information. Mr. Rosenstein says, "That's not true. I have not." The articles of impeachment, which were filed on Wednesday evening, criticized Rosenstein for allegedly failing to comply with requests for documents relating to Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into possible ties between the Trump campaign and Russia. Rod Rosenstein has been in charge of the Department of Justice as the agency has made every effort to obstruct legitimate attempts of congressional oversight, Meadows said in a statement. Rosenstein has overseen the investigation since Attorney General Jeff Sessions recused himself last year because he said, "I didn't ever meet with the Russians." Oh, wait a minute, I did meet with the Russians. I guess I better recuse myself. Impeachment would have to be approved by a majority in the House and backed by 2/3 of the U.S. Senate to convict Rosenstein. Impeachment is high crimes and misdemeanors or treason. Doesn't seem like any of that is.
I would just quote Republican Jeff Flake when he said, impeach him for what?
The man who destroyed President Trump's Walk of Fame star with a pickaxe on Wednesday morning is reportedly being bailed out of jail by another man who destroyed the star in 2016.
We belong to the same club.
James Otis, heir to the Otis Elevator Company.
Oh, really?
Told TMZ he is preparing to
There's
pay
still an Otis?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you see him all the time. To prepare $20,000 to bail out 24-year-old Austin Clay, the latest vandal to demolish the Trump star. Otis, dressed in construction worker gear, used a sledgehammer and a pickaxe to hack away Trump's name in October of 2016. He pleaded no contest in 2017 and paid $4,400 for the damage. And did 20 days of community service. Mr. Clay turned himself into police on Wednesday, and now Mr. Otis says he will bail him out. Let's see. It's finally happening.
What is?
There is an agreement, and it will be done, a movie of Hamilton. If you are not one of the lucky people who got to watch Hamilton on Broadway or seen one of the regional performances, the one that was here in Salt Lake was very good. According to the Wall Street Journal, Warner Brothers and 20th Century Fox are bidding on an original cast recording of Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical to show in theaters around the country.
Would it star him?
Yes, the show will star Miranda. It's the original cast.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, not the original cast because Jonathan Groff was King George III. He was not the original King George, although he's considered the definitive King George III in Hamilton. Leslie Odom Jr. as Aaron Burr. Christopher Jackson as George Washington. Philippa Sue as Eliza Hamilton, David Diggs as Marquis de Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson, and Renee Elise Goldsberry as Angelica Schuyler. So that's pretty cool. And let's see, the final season of Game of Thrones will be premiering in the first half of 2019, apparently. Getting closer, finally, the 8th and final season.
And they'll separate it out like they do. You get a few.
You will get, I think there are only, I want to say 8 episodes or something like that for the final season.
Yeah, they're very, very few episodes, but they're very...
Are all of them long?
They're a little longer than usual, and they're all pretty substantial.
They're
a
like
lot of effects.
Standalone movies.
Yeah, they're all like small movies. So.
And Kelsey Grammer is exploring the possibility, the idea of doing a reboot of
Not everything needs a reboot.
If you're not working, it does. A reboot of Frasier, a beloved TV show, a show that I watched a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
And
I mean, it wasn't as though I was a fan of the show. It wasn't as though I looked forward to it.
It was good though.
But it was just always
it's always
there
solid and good.
solid.
Yeah.
I liked it because radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was.
I'm listening.
Well, you can't have a complete reboot because the dad died.
Yeah, and the dog.
Well, you get another dog. You can't get another dad.
Listen, if you can give BB Newworth work, I'm all for that.
Lilith?
Lilith.
Was she?
I loved her.
She wasn't a regular.
She wasn't.
She
was in
appeared
it
on
some. Yeah.
She was a semi-regular.
And Roz, whatever that, who played that.
Oh, yeah,
but
she was funny.
For some reason, the character that I'd like to see again is Bulldog. Remember
Oh,
Bulldog,
the sports guy? Mhm.
I always liked that character as
No,
well.
they should just give Niles a show. Leave Kelsey Grammer out of it.
No. Kelsey Grammer's very funny when he wants to be. Right.
Sports, weather, traffic.
Brought to you by smartphones are important in today's world for business, friendship, and within families. That's why Bad Apple, they don't just fix phones. They do data retrieval, water diagnostics, iCloud questions. If they don't know the solution to your problem, they will find it. Locations at badapplerepair.com. Let's see. As far as in town tonight, you've got the Bees against Memphis, and it's Thirsty Thursday if you need another reason to go. Weather a lot like yesterday, high of 96 and sunny. And traffic, let me refresh that for you quickly. Make sure I give you the latest information that UDOT is providing to me. Crash Washington Boulevard, 34th Street in Ogden. Crash northbound I-215 at 35th South in Salt Lake off to the right shoulder. Crash westbound I-215 5th East. Crash westbound I-215 at State Street in Murray. The right lane is blocked there. And crash southbound I-15 10th North in Orem. That's traffic.
All right, here's boner candidate number 3. There are only 3, and I'm confused as to which one we're doing. It's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed. Now there is an airline called Wizz Air, cheap airline. I think it's Polish. A female passenger has disgusted an aircrew when she urinated on the floor of a Wizz Air flight between Britain and Poland because the toilet was engaged.
There's a picture.
There's actually video. There's a picture of her at x96.com/live. The unnamed woman can be seen with her trousers down to her knees and a large puddle around her as she chats on the phone to a friend. The incident took place on board a recent Wizz Air flight between London and Warsaw. When the woman was not allowed to use the toilet, according to reports, the plane was fueling up. Passengers were not allowed to go to the toilet during the procedure, so the woman decided, I'm doing it right here in the galley.
Oh, gross.
That's the compartment where the food is prepared. The woman is seen squatting against a wall. Somebody put paper towels all around her to staunch the large pool. Boner candidate number 3. It's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed.
All right, there you go. Let's review the first 2 and vote.
Number 1, nurse in public, no recommend for you. A stake president denying a temple recommend to a nursing mother and her husband. Boner candidate number 2, that's what an Egyptian zebra looks like. A zoo in Egypt caught painting a donkey black and white in a bizarre bid to pass it off as a zebra. And boner candidate number 3, It's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed.
All right, here we go. This is round 2. You've got to decide of these 3 candidates which one is the worst, therefore most deserving to go forward to Boner Fight to get that chance to become Boner of the Day. If it wins here, it's got to defeat the winner of round 1's voting. Both those candidates will face off at 9:20. That's when Boner of the Day will be decided. So pick your contender here for round 2. 1, 2, or 3. Remember your candidate number. Put that number in the message of a text. Text that to 33986. Call 877-602-9696. Or go to x96.com. Look for the box that says July 26 Boner voting. You got 4 minutes. Let's go.
X96.
The best news that I received in New York, well, the best thing that I learned, okay, is that I never have to go on a cruise again.
Good news, everyone.
That's good. Oh, I
Good
know why.
news, everyone.
I know why. Yeah.
Why?
We went out to Liberty Island, and this is the second time now that Sue has gotten seasick.
You go on a ferry out there.
Yeah. One time before is we took a cruise around the bay up in Seattle. She was just completely messed up the rest of that trip. And this time, it was our last day in New York. We went out, and she got seasick and was just miserable the rest of the day.
So
that is some great news. I never will have to go on a cruise. I've been on one. I'm not a cruise guy.
Yeah.
You know, you're
no matter
either
how old you get,
you are a cruise person or you're not a cruise person, and that's all there is to it.
I've never been on a cruise, but I'm worried I would get on a cruise and discover that I am not a cruise
My wife
person.
got quite seasick on a cruise. I think I would enjoy a cruise if it were the right one.
Well, now, see, that's the thing, is that a friend of mine, my friend next door, neighbor, Buckley, he came over and he said, you know, there's this cruise that we go on every year in October that I think you'd have a lot of fun, and you and Sue should come with us. It's a Halloween cruise to Mexico, and people just get rip-roaring drunk, and they're running around in costumes. And I said, well, 2 things. I don't think so, because that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
I'm trapped on a
That doesn't
boat
really.
with a bunch of lunkheads.
But there's booze.
And second of all...
That doesn't make everything better.
Yeah, believe it or
Really?
not.
No.
Believe it or not. Because, you know, there are just some people who drink I don't like to be around.
Yeah.
And I'll bet they're the same kind of people who like to dress up in Halloween costumes, you know? I mean, imagine being locked in Port of Call on Halloween for 3 days.
Say no more.
You know?
See, the worst kind of cruise are those. I mean, do you want to go on a booze cruise? You don't.
You don't.
I'm telling you,
It sounds
you
like
don't.
a good idea.
You just don't want to. Those things that they label as booze cruises.
Didn't you guys go on one in Mexico?
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. We went in Hawaii.
And it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. But there's these small cruise companies that are real high end that I think it'd be kind of. Or I'd like to do. There are river cruises where they do cruise adventures on the great rivers of Europe and things like that. I think that'd be,
now that'd be okay.
A cruise of the Rhine on a boat with maybe it's like 100 other people or something like that with high end gourmet meals but they're expensive.
But I have been spared the hardship that is the cruise. Yeah. So thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sue, for being seasick, for being a landlubber. Thank you.
She doesn't have sea legs?
No sea legs.
Deal from Hell with Kerry Jackson, Bill Allred, and Gina Barberi on X96.
All right, let's award round 2 of your boner voting.
And round 2 of the boner voting is brought to you in part by a bag of chili Fritos. What do they call them? The Fritos with the chili spice on them.
Probably chili Fritos.
Something like that. Anyway, a small bag of those.
And movie lovers, download the new Broovies app for Android or Apple and receive a 2-for-1 admission to Broovies' new Ogden location. You must sign up 1 hour in advance of attendance at the theater. Get showtimes at broovies.com.
So boner candidate number 1 was nurse in public. Well, no recommend for you. A woman who breastfeeding her child at church, and people found it offensive, and the bishop told her to cover up, and then the stake president said, I'm not going to give you a temple recommend unless you stop nursing your child. And you know what? I'm not going to give your husband one either, because he won't keep you in line. And then there was boner candidate number 2. Well, that's what an Egyptian zebra looks like. It's an Egyptian zoo caught painting a donkey black and white in a bid to pass it off as a zebra. And boner candidate number 3, it's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed. A woman said, you can't use the restroom here on this flight, and it is an airline called Wizz Air. And so she just squatted down in the galley and let fly. David won the Reggae Rise Up tickets, and the winner was a battle between number 1 and number 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the winner, number 3, it's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed.
No love for the Egyptian donkey.
Not much.
It's my favorite
one. That's my sign-off, by the way.
It was my favorite one.
Somebody call it a zonky.
Well, you decide who the winner of each round is, and you've picked the winner of round 2. It will now face off against the winner of round 1, which you also picked. Boner of the day is decided at 9:20 between those 2 candidates.
Thank you, somebody who texted. It's chili cheese Fritos that I had. So, Gina, you're having some vertigo problems.
Yeah, so on Pioneer Day, we didn't work.
No, we didn't.
And we got to sleep in.
Sort of.
And at 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning, Joe, my husband, rolled over and looked at the clock and went, "Oh my gosh, you're late for work. It's 6 o'clock." And he sort of shook me, and I had earplugs in, and I was startled. So, like, the pressure in my ear was weird, and
Somehow
then
that
I
caused
sat
the-
up really fast.
Caused you to get vertigo.
Caused me, and if you don't know what vertigo is, it's awful. It feels like you're spinning or the room is spinning all the time, especially when you go from like lying down to sitting up, or if you're in bed and you're changing positions. And anyway, I had this one time before when I had my concussion, and they gave me medication back then. It's basically like seasickness medicine.
Oh, yeah.
That's the same kind of sensation you have, motion sickness. And my concussion was 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
It's been a while.
Once you have one, they are easier to.
Yeah. But so I had saved this medication from then, which is probably too long to be, I don't know.
No, it doesn't go bad.
But I thought, so last night we went up to Red Butte. We went to a concert up there, and so we got home kind of late, and I was feeling a little spinny, and I wanted to make sure I didn't, get sick in the night. So I took one of these motion sickness pills at like 11 o'clock last night.
This on top of the wine you drank at Red Butte. Come on. Come on.
This on top of the wine.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
You're playing with fire there, Barberi.
But it's almost 9 o'clock now. I could, you know how germophobic I am. I could totally lie down on the floor right here in the studio and be asleep in 30
Well,
seconds.
let's test that out.
I won't get out.
Come on. Let's test that out.
Like when Carrie goes to commercial and he says, we'll be back in 200 seconds or whatever. I've been closing my eyes.
Yeah, and nodding.
During
I do
commercial.
that too sometimes. I am sometimes that. I was that tired yesterday.
It's still in my system. I'm like, well, I can't take that again. I don't remember it being this. But is that what people do when they go on like boat rides and stuff?
They
and
try, and it doesn't work that well usually. And
you're just
and then
sleepy all the
Yeah,
time?
you just stay kind of drugged out all the time.
Why go?
That's exactly.
Because this is miserable.
Motion sickness. Now, my wife gets motion sickness in the car, and if you take ginger capsules like an hour or so before you go on a trip, that can help. I don't know why it helps, but it does. So here, try some ginger next time.
But so I made an appointment at the Balance Clinic to get the maneuver done.
The maneuver.
It's time for the maneuver.
It's the maneuver to get rid of. It's a doctor that kind of manipulates your head.
That's
It was
not until
to-
next week,
No,
right?
because
You probably shouldn't
everybody-
be driving, should you?
Because everybody is off this week. I swear, so many people took this whole week off because Pioneer Day was in the middle of it.
You shouldn't be driving, should you?
I don't know. How can that still be in my system? It was last night.
But you shouldn't be driving with vertigo.
Oh, well, that.
Oh, that.
Probably not.
I mean, and then with that on top of it.
I'm okay when I'm just sitting still. It's when you move.
People in the chat room are vouching for the ginger pills, by the way.
Vouching for ginger pills.
And Dramamine. No, Shelley, we're not going to try ear candling.
No.
Shelley,
no.
I tried it once and it was disastrous on the air.
That was bad.
You ended up burning the inside of your ear.
No, I ended up in the emergency room in the clinic with so much melted wax in my ear. The doctor, what is this?
And not earwax.
No. No, when the woman who did it, all of a sudden I felt this searing pain, and I said, stop. And
it's a scam, by the way. People know. We haven't talked about ear candling in a while, but we had someone come in and go, because you were having some ear trouble with something.
Well, no, not really. They just said it makes you feel better, too. It just kind of makes you. And I said, well, it seems stupid, but I'll try it. I'll try anything.
So they put this like cone-shaped
wax thing
in your ear, and they light it on fire.
And the smoke is supposed to go into your ear.
Yeah.
But for some, it didn't work right, and some melted wax went into my ear, and it really hurt. And then I realized that I couldn't hear,
It's a
and so
scam.
later in the day, I had to go to and they flushed out they got so much melted ear candle wax out of there.
And not earwax,
No.
candle wax.
Candle wax.
It was awful. Doctor said, what is this? What did you do?
Now what did Bill? Now what did you do?
I work on the radio.
What have you been putting in your ears?
We do things.
There's a bean in here too.
But this is the other thing. So I've been sleeping pretty regularly with earplugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's not good for you,
No,
apparently.
it isn't.
It's like an occasional thing you do,
Yeah.
somebody's doing construction outside your bedroom window.
Or if you're in you're staying at a youth hostel.
Or if you're on an airplane or something. But I've gotten in the habit of doing it every night. And
If you're getting an MRI, I had an MRI that lasts
Yeah.
on Saturday. You wear earplugs.
so now I don't know what.
What do you mean you don't know what?
How to sleep without plugging my ears up.
What is making you have an extra room, don't you?
Well, I'm not, Lucy Ricardo.
Well, no, they had separate beds,
Oh.
not separate rooms. It was different.
It's like sleeping in the same room as my
again,
husband.
get your husband to do something about it. He can. There are things that can stop snoring.
Yeah, there are mouthpieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dental
I don't want him to wear a
device.
mouthpiece.
Well,
I want him to just.
I
stop
want him to just snore so I stay awake.
He could die if he just stopped snoring. He could die. The area of the ear that affects balance is behind the tympanic membrane.
Yes.
So doing anything in the ear canal is going to have dubious results unless you plan to perforate the membrane, which also is not recommended.
The one thing about earplugs that I will say that when I use them regularly is that they kept my ears cleaner.
How's that? I thought it compacted stuff.
No,
in there.
no.
It pulled stuff out.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. I can't use those again. Throw those away.
You ever had your ears professionally cleaned?
Just
professionally.
Just that one time when I got all that ear candle wax in there.
Yeah.
Because you had
I
that.
did. It was
It
a long
hurt,
time
didn't
ago.
it?
No, it was interesting. It was water.
That
It
high
was
pressure
it was
water.
essentially like a water pick.
Yeah.
In your ear, and there was one chunk that he was having trouble getting out, and you know the sound like when you rub a balloon.
Yes.
That's what it sounded like because he had
In your
tweezers.
head.
Yeah, he had tweezers, and he was plucking.
Yeah.
And every time he plucked and it didn't come off, it would go boom, and it would make that sound like a balloon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to do that. They had to do that with my ear candle stuff too. Tweeze it, flush it out, and tweeze it.
Yeah.
But it was such a relief.
But
'cause it was hurting.
once it was done, though, my hearing improved, and so I think I'm ready to go have it done again.
You liked it.
I liked it.
Well, now my doctor routinely checks my ears.
Well, sure.
And that's one of the things I think they look for is wax buildup.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I woke up with vertigo once and was sick all day. I did a maneuver that I found on YouTube that evening, and it fixed the dizziness immediately.
The maneuver I've had the maneuver done before.
Well, it says you can do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
I want a professional to do it. Professional to clean your ears. Professional to do the maneuvers.
Well, just find it on YouTube and see. Maybe it's something that you can do.
My husband had Meniere's disease. He tried everything you mentioned to try to stop the vertigo. When he got it, he was sick for 3 days. He finally needed surgery to cut his vestibular nerve in his head.
That sounds like a nerve you need.
Well, until it starts causing you trouble. Get that Volva nerve.
And Joe says, try weed, Gina. It works for my wife.
To sleep
To
or for
sleep.
vertigo? Which one?
Maybe both.
You still have vertigo, you just don't care.
Yeah.
Wow, this is cool.
Oh, thank you. Oh, can this be the pot? Why don't you do
want
that
it?
for potty
Do you want
break?
it for potty
Yes,
break?
I
Okay,
do.
that'll be the potty break. So. Well, give us one last check of traffic then, if you would.
Okay, I'm going to refresh the UDOT website so I can give you the very latest information. Crash eastbound I-80 at milepost 44. This is in Tooele County. Crash northbound I-215 at the ramp to go westbound I-80 on 25th East. The right shoulder being affected there. Crash Washington Boulevard, 34th Street in Ogden. And crash northbound I-215, 35th South in Salt Lake. Elevate your summer at Snowbird, offering daily activities like the aerial tram, mountain coaster, and all-new Woodward Rectangle. Pre-purchase your all-day activity pass online for best pricing. Details at snowbird.com.
You know what she said. What she said.
Do we need, well, let's tell them some more about it.
I'll tell you more about it. Go to the, if you want a discount on your all-day activities pass at Snowbird, go to snowbird.com. You can purchase an all-day activity pass online there for the best pricing you'll find. And the earlier you buy, the greater the discount. And there are all kinds of great summer activities. Gina told you about the mountain coaster and all of those. But Friday night, the outdoor family flicks. Now, this is free, starting at dusk on the Snowbird Center Plaza deck. This Friday, they're showing Groundhog Day.
Oh.
Then on Saturday night, it's a free concert. Ballroom Thieves is the band, and that's from 6 to 9 on Saturday, and that's free as well. Now, Snowbird season passes for skiing are on sale. Get your season passes before August 10th, and you'll get all kinds of freebies, including free overnight stay at the Cliff Lodge, 2 free all-day activity passes, summer lift access, and more. Snowbird.com is where you'll find all the details.
You better get your ass to the X96 Toyota Big Ass Show.
U2 makes Vertigo sound pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's when they sold out.
Is that when they sold out?
That's a sellout song.
I thought they sold out with Joshua Tree. I thought that was it.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I got in a little trouble. There's a button on the elevator, and I thought when you press it, you get a free fire hat. You don't. You don't get a free fire hat. Just a little button, and there's a picture of a fire hat on it. I said, "Oh, free fire hat." Nope.
No.
It's not what happens.
Because you're a toddler?
Well, I thought.
See, that's my. I don't know why they put those buttons so low. They should put those out of reach of kids.
This one was.
The emergency button should be.
Well, then it
5
would be out,
feet in the air.
Then it would be out of my reach.
I was going to say little people.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah,
need to
oh,
be
to hell with them, Carrie.
Low enough for.
Now, the little people, there's an emergency, they can be the first to go. Doesn't matter.
Do you have a phobia about elevators, though? Like getting stuck
no.
in one?
No, not really.
You never have that thought of.
No. No, I don't. I mean, I guess, I have phobias about certain things. Like, I always am pretty sure that I'm going to be involved in a horrible car crash. Well, I mean, when I'm driving on the freeway, when I'm on I-15 or whatever, I'm always like, well, this is insane. This is ridiculous. There are all these huge hunks of metal going 70 miles an hour around me. Some of them not a foot away from me. Why are we doing this? This is ridiculous. So I'm always sort of on the alert for that.
My safety is in all of these other people's hands. I have to trust that everybody out here on the road is.
We've all agreed.
Going to stay in their lane.
We've all made a
contract.
A contract, so to speak, that we're all going to try to not kill each other on the road.
So it's I'm always on the lookout for the unforeseen. I'm always, I know that guy's he's gonna violate the contract any minute.
That's how I drive.
Yeah.
Is I always assume that the car next to me, behind me, in front of me, is going to do something stupid.
Yeah.
And so I anticipate it.
Yeah, I do. That's what I do too, or I try to anyway. But because I'm always sure that that's gonna be.
My mom always used to say when she was trying to scare us when we were learning how to drive, you need to think of all those cars like they're loaded guns pointed at you as you're driving.
My mom used to warn me about. She said, "Just remember, if you go to prison, you're young and pretty."
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, that's not a good thing.
So don't go to prison.
Don't go to jail.
Oh, speaking of that Dr. Larry Nasser, the guy
I have that story,
molested all of the gymnastics, U.S. gymnastics team people. So he was in isolation or solitary or something, and they let him out into the regular population. And I think within an hour or two, he got the crap beat out of him.
Pretty well beat,
really?
Yeah.
Well.
And now he's, did I hear he's suing the judge?
Yeah.
He's suing the judge. And I'll find the story and we'll do it in the.
Well, we do have news coming up.
Yeah.
Stand by for that. It's also a boner of the day will be decided. But right now, I got to tell you about FanX, formerly Salt Lake Comic Con.
Oh yeah.
FanX.
I saw Jesus is coming.
Who?
Jesus.
Jesus Caviezel?
No. Oh, you didn't see this, Carrie?
Which
Walking
Jesus?
Dead Jesus.
Oh, that Jesus. Oh, he's been at it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that must be new.
I saw that just recently.
Jesus.
Yeah.
FanX, formerly Salt Lake Comic Con, returns September 6th through the 8th to the Salt Palace, Utah's ultimate pop culture fan experience. Meet celebrity guests, including, here's a list of the current ones that I have. Ben Affleck.
What?
Yeah. David Tennant, if you're a Doctor Who. Tim Curry is going to be there. Evangeline Lilly, so you can thank her for the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Carl Urban, who is my Dr. McCoy. Rainn Wilson, Chuck Norris, Ian McDermott. He's the Emperor from the Star Wars movie.
Oh.
Tom Welling, he is a Superman. Paul Rubens.
Pee-wee?
Sure. But he'll always be the spleen to me.
Okay.
And, you got fandoms all represented: Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Stranger Things, DC, and Marvel. Get the full lineup, and you can purchase tickets at fanxsaltlake.com.
AWOL Nation.
How do you feel about hot water bottles?
No, I don't have a lot of experience with those. Although it's it seems to my grandmother always had one hanging on the back of the bathroom door with a hose on it.
That wasn't a hot water.
Oh, it wasn't?
It wasn't?
Well, what was it?
Oh.
It was
Really?
red rubber.
Yeah, that wasn't a hot
with
water.
a hose
Really?
on it.
No.
Wait a minute, she just left that out?
What was that for?
You really don't know?
I just want you to tell me. I might know, but
It's something that's not recommended anymore that women do.
Oh.
Don't-
Well, I think
that's what that
no,
was.
I think
that
it was
not a hot water
I
bottle.
think it was also used for enemas. They used them for enemas, I think, as well.
Sure.
But it was the same thing, right? It was the hot water. You could take the hose off.
I don't think you should
I think
use
it, was the
it
same,
for all of those things.
Well, I think it was the same deal. You could take the hose off, and there was a stopper. I think.
This really disturbs me because I thought it was just a hot water
No.
bottle. It was like at my aunt's house.
Nope.
And I saw that. She just left that out?
Yeah, they always used to be hanging on the back, right?
I mean, she knew that we were coming to visit.
So they can dry them out. You
Yeah.
got to hang them
What are you
up.
just leaving that out for?
They were always on a hook on the back of the
People
bathroom
are coming
door.
to visit you.
It was the custom
Of
of
the
the
time.
time. Back in the day, that's what they did.
Don't do.
But I think they also used them as hot water
I hope
bottles.
not.
I'm going to look it up. I'll look it
If
up.
your grandma ever handed you a hot water bottle, I hope it was something
Hey,
different.
even if it was an enema bag, all right? Why did she leave that out? She knew that we were coming to visit. You put stuff away when you
Well,
know
where do you-
people are coming to visit.
Put that in the enema bag drawer.
I mean,
And
I
they
mean,
used
I know we're family, but
and they used
come
it for
on.
flushing other things out as
Yes.
well. They used it for douching.
Why would my aunt just leave that out?
Harry, don't douche.
I just, she's a horrible person.
No, everybody did.
I remember my grandma having it hanging on. Grandma Fern had it on the back of her.
Douche.
I mean, I didn't like her anyway, but now I really don't like her.
But see, it didn't do you any damage because you didn't know.
It's doing it now.
The memory.
It's making me think about.
Are you scarred now?
No, her thought process. Family's coming to visit. I'm just going to leave this out. I don't care.
Well, maybe somebody in the family needs an enema or a douche or a hot water bottle. It's handy.
866. Call 877-602-9696 or text us at 33986. Message and data rates apply.
Remember that info. You're going to need it here in about 7 minutes to vote for Boner of the Day. Time now for Big Boy News and Opinioendo. Reasonable amount. Brought to you by...
Get unlimited 1.5% cash back plus a $100 bonus with Power Cashback Credit Card from Security Service Federal Credit Union. Restrictions apply. Get details at ssfcu.org.
Well, Jesse Camp had been reported missing by his sister.
Nobody remembers.
Former MTV VJ, Jesse Camp. Now, wasn't he the one... There was some... Was it a contest?
He was the winner of the first Be a VJ contest.
Yeah, so he was just some guy.
Yeah.
And he was a VJ on MTV for a short period of time. Yeah. He was arrested last year for stealing a vacuum at the Home Depot.
I'm glad he was needing a vacuum.
Well,
I'm glad he was tidying up.
Gina, it's drug making.
He could make it with a vacuum?
Yeah, he used vacuums for drug making. Law enforcement said Camp was arrested in January for petty theft outside the Home Depot in California. According to documents obtained by The Blast, Camp went into the Home Depot with a rigid blower box.
Excuse me?
A rigid blower. That's a vacuum.
Okay.
And swapped it with one, so it was an empty rigid blower box.
Oh, I see what he did.
He did the swap, one already on the shelf, walked to the front of the store, returned the item, and purchased a rigid, wet, dry vacuum with the money he received from the return. You see. Home Depot employee checked the box that Camp had placed on the shelf. Wait a minute. This thing is empty, but he's missing. I'd say turn over some rocks. Turn over some rocks, and you might find him. Here's the story of the missing tortoise and the canine dog. The canine police dog.
Okay.
A retired canine police dog, jumping back into action for an unusual request. Sniff out the missing pet tortoise.
Do you wave a little piece of the tortoise's clothing in front of his nose so he knows?
Copper, the bloodhound, was enjoying his first year of retirement after 9 years of working for the West Valley City Police Department. But now he can add another successful search to his long list of finds. His nose has led us to a lot of bad guys, said Sergeant Shane Matheson, Copper's handler and now owner. Throughout his years on the police force, Copper tracked down suspects, missing children, but never a missing tortoise. He said, I know it's far-fetched, I know it's kind of a crazy idea, said Ashley Johnson, Sergeant Matheson's neighbor, who asked him to help her find her pet tortoise, Harold. I'm kind of desperate in the end of the line. We're devastated. We can't find Harold. How far can a tortoise go? But apparently they're a lot more mobile than I thought, said Sergeant Matheson.
And they can be fast.
Yeah. Harold was out grazing in the grass when he disappeared. Ashley couldn't find the tortoise anywhere. We looked until 1:30 in the morning.
He's probably cold and hungry.
And he's frightened because he's alone and doesn't know how to get back.
He sucked his legs and his head into his shell to keep warm.
But he does have a little home.
The tortoise was quoted as saying, "You'll never get me, Copper."
But within seconds, so they bring Copper over, and he picked up the scent from Harold's hut. He has his own little house, and the dog sniffs the house around and then goes, "Aha! I know what I'm looking for." And they found Copper back by the retaining wall just outside the neighbor's yard. He was hiding in the rocks. So thank God. Larry Nassar, former sports doctor, said he was assaulted in May, or his lawyers say he was, after being released into the general prison population of a federal prison. The Detroit News reports that Nassar's lawyers disclosed the assault in motion, seeking that he be resentenced by a different judge for molesting young athletes. Nassar serving a 60-year child pornography sentence at the U.S. Penitentiary in Tucson, Arizona. It's the country's only federal facility that is classified as high security and also has a sex offender management program. The legal motions do not specify the nature of the assault. Nassar will be locked up for the rest of his life.
Good.
Under decades-long sentences for molesting athletes
Hundreds of them.
Yep, and for possessing child pornography. And the Ohio State abuse case gets worse. Investigators working on behalf of Ohio State University are digging through decades of records to piece together what might have happened decades ago when Dr. Richard H. Strauss was a team doctor and, according to recent accounts, engaged in some form of sexual misconduct with more than 100 former students. Between 1979 and 1997, Ohio State's sex abuse crisis and its apparent failure to provide abused athletes with adequate support may have extended to more recent years. There's Esther Pryor, a former diver who trained at Ohio State University as a teenager. She said she was molested. She was 16. She said she never talked about it. She said, I just didn't know what to do. I felt alone and I didn't know what to do. So the investigation continues. And a topless critic of Vladimir Putin has been found dead. Oksana Shakko, known for protesting while topless, has allegedly ended her own life. The 31-year-old from Ukraine, who co-founded the feminist protest group Femin, was found dead in her Paris apartment. There was a suicide note next to her body. She had left the group Femin, which regularly challenged the policies of powerful groups and individuals, including Russian President Vladimir Putin. Unknown assailants are said to have once abducted her while Putin was in Ukraine. She escaped to France but was found dead earlier this week. But she would show up and protest and topless. And a Michigan village has elected a cat as mayor of the town. The cat's name is Sweet Tart, and it's a beautiful,
What's
beautiful
his platform?
Cat. Fewer mice. I promise.
Mice.
I promise fewer mice.
No one will be able to protect you from the mice like me.
Omena, Michigan is the town, and they've elected Sweet Tart. I guess we don't have a picture of Sweet
My
Tart.
opponent is easy on mice.
Beautiful, beautiful cat.
It's Boner Fight with Radio from Hell on X96.
All right, here we go. This is the winner from round one in the 7 o'clock hour. There are 3 boner candidates there, and this one came out victorious. It'll go up against the winner of round 2, which was in the 8 o'clock hour. So number 1, there were complaints. Utah library workers told to remove LGBT-themed displays from the libraries in Washington County, and the director of the library system down there in Washington County, Utah, said there were complaints about this LGBTQ stuff, while the librarians, the workers at the Hurricane Library, said, "What? We didn't hear any complaints. Nobody said anything to us." And then boner candidate number 2, it's Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed. It's a woman who was now that is the name of the airline, Wizz Air, and she was either not allowed to or...
Oh, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, there's video now of her. She was either not allowed to or there was no room in the bathroom in the plane, so she just squats down in the galley and starts peeing on the floor.
Well, she's talking to her friend on the phone.
Right, yeah. Well, you know, might as well get some... She's really a dub, you know, she likes to multitask.
Yep.
All right, that's number 2, Wizz Air.
All right, you've got to decide of these 2 candidates, which one is the worst? Which one deserves to be boner of the day for July 26th? 1 or 2, remember the candidate number that you think should win. Put that number in the message of a text, and then text that to 33986. Easy. Or you can call 877-602-9696. Nick will take your votes in the producer's booth. Or go to x96.com and look for the box that says Boner Fight July 26 and vote there. If you don't see that box, refresh. It should appear. All right. We've only got 4.5 minutes, though. Let's go. This is Boner of the Day.
The music starts at 10 with a 1-hour nonstop music wingding. Video from hell came from working in a spider-infested, dusty old studio with substandard equipment in Ogden. Now, Carrie, Bill, and Gina have a big, fancy studio in beautiful downtown Salt Lake. And they still find things to bitch about. X96.
All right, it's time to award Boner of the Day.
And Boner of the Day is brought to you by some tacos.
In
tostadas.
part.
In part by some and chili cheese Fritos.
Why do you have Fritos and
Oh, I had those a little
tacos?
earlier
okay.
in the day.
They just don't seem like they go together, really. But you got the corn tortilla here, and then it's just a smaller.
Why don't they go together? There's chili powder in the taco seasoning. As a matter of fact, they're a perfect match. I wish I'd had them together.
Listen, I didn't think that ice cream and Ritz crackers went together until last night.
That sounds great.
Like dipping Ritz crackers and
crumble them over the ice cream. It was.
I can kind of see that.
You live on the edge.
It was.
My
amazing.
God, you live on the edge.
It was amazing.
And movie lovers, download the new Broovies app for Android or Apple and receive a 2-for-1 admission to Broovies' new Ogden location. Must sign up to 1 hour in advance of attendance to the theater. Get showtimes at broovies.com.
So, once again, the Boner voting was exceptionally close. Only one vote separating them. Boner candidate number 1. There were complaints. Utah library workers told to remove LGBT-themed displays from the libraries. Library director claiming people were uncomfortable and there were complaints. Some library workers said, well, we never heard any complaints. And Boner candidate number 2 is Wizz Air, isn't it? I whizzed. Woman on a flight from London to Warsaw, Poland. Bathrooms are full or they wouldn't let her use them or whatever the situation. And so she just squatted down in the galley of the airplane and, yes, took a whiz. Big puddle of it. Let's see. Dallas won the Broovies gift card. And who do you think was the one-vote winner?
By one vote?
Yeah, one vote.
The peeing lady.
You think? I was going to say the first one.
The peeing lady, as Gina so delicately put it.
Really?
You could have said Wizz Air and people
No, the
would have...
peeing lady.
The peeing lady by one vote.
All right, that's your Boner of the Day for July 26. It is now qualified to be Boner of the Week. That happens tomorrow at about this time.
So why did you crumble Ritz crackers on just
Was it an
on a
accident?
whim?
It was just a whim. A whim.
What kind of ice cream was it?
Well, Sue said, I want something sweet. And we went down the list of the sweets that we had, which aren't many. Because I think I'd like some Americone Dream ice cream.
Well, that has the crunch in it.
It does. But then as I was getting up to go get it for her, she said, try this. Take a Ritz cracker and crumble it on top of it.
She just thought of that?
She ought to be on one of them cooking shows.
Because we just had Ritz crackers in the house because she made a peanut butter pie with a Ritz cracker crust for the 24th.
She needs to be on one of those cooking shows.
And she said, give that a try.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't want to go overboard, so I just did one and a half.
A dusting.
We realized afterward, could have gone for 2, maybe 3.
You know what you could have done? You could make ice cream sandwiches
Little
with the
tiny
Ritz crackers.
bite-sized.
Little ice cream sandwiches with the Ritz crackers. Even ice cream is good when it sits on a Ritz. It's a good cracker.
That's next, because you got the salty and the sweet happening.
Now, they're delicate, so you have to get the ice cream pretty soft.
You got to be careful, yeah. So you'd have to soften it up, and it'd have to be one bite. You wouldn't want to do 2 bites with that.
I had I had a Casco nut sundae this week because we're talking about Casco nut sundaes, and it's not. I don't think it's a real one. Fat Boy has them now.
Yeah,
but it's the general idea of a Casco nut sundae, and it was pretty good.
Ice cream novelties are a great idea. The follow-through is rarely worth it.
You're rarely satisfied.
The only mass-produced one that I really like, I mean, Fat Boys are, they're all right.
They're local.
But I do like the Toll House, Nestle's Toll House cookie ice cream
That's
sandwich.
a good one. And the drumstick.
Drumsticks are still fun.
What's the difference between the drumstick and the Casco nut sundae?
Well, the Casco nut sundae is on a stick.
Yeah.
And a drumstick is a cone.
But it
even
sticks
though it's
in the
called
name.
But it looks because it looks vaguely like a chicken or a turkey drumstick. That's why they named it that.
I've been putting Ritz crackers on vanilla ice cream for years. My mom showed me. Okay, good for you.
Your mother showed you? Son, this is a family secret.
Ritz are like baked butter, and I eat way too many of them. That's the problem I have, Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that comes in a sleeve can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because your mind can read that as this is an individually packaged. I should be able to eat all of this.
I'm only going to eat the sleeve of Ritz. Yeah.
Oh, now I've got to try this. I got to look out for this. New Tillamook ice cream flavor, buttered maple pancakes.
Okay.
I had an ice cream called, and I don't know if you're gonna enjoy this, Gina.
What is it?
It was called Shake and Fries.
Shake and fries.
Yes.
So people like to dip their French fries in their shakes occasionally.
This was, and I can't recall the flavor of the ice cream, but it had French fries in the
Cold
container.
No, nope.
It was surprisingly good.
Were they crispy?
They were just kind of there. It was like they
weren't crispy.
They weren't crispy. No,
I don't vote for that.
But it actually tasted okay. It would have been better if the quality of the ice cream would have been, thicker and creamier. That was my only complaint. They had a great idea, but their ice cream quality was not as good.
Well, I know, you put ice cream together with almost anything, it's going to be good.
I wanted it to be good because it's a company called Cool House, and it's a women-owned company. I wanted it to be.
I just don't like the cold, squishy French fry.
It was back in the day. People used to eat, kidney pie a la mode. Ice cream and anything. It's put a scoop of ice cream on it, and it'll fix it right up. Or an egg. That's the other thing.
An egg,
like a fried egg.
Yeah, that's the other thing that'll fix up most any.
You
food.
put a fried egg on ice cream?
You
no.
put a soft.
No.
Oh, listen.
I'm
telling you, big dish of ice cream, a hot fried eggs. Soft fried egg on top of a big thing of ice cream, and then some Ritz crackers.
Well, I don't know about ice cream, but certainly a hamburger. Put a fried egg on a hamburger.
He said anything.
It's a yummy
Anything.
All right.
I put fried eggs on my shoes occasionally. Anything.
Everest Collision Repair.
Put
on your car.
Put a fried egg on your car, and then Sean will make sure that they get it off.
Not just Sean. Bill, you always bring up Sean.
Well,
but
Jamie
the
and
the whole team.
Huge team. I always mention Jamie too. The Everest Collision. They have 4 locations. They're just a great organization.
Put the app on your phone, Everest Collision app, and you think, well, I don't need it now. I'm not in an accident. Well, when you are in one and you have the app, it'll make it easier to get an estimate.
You can get a free estimate through the app. It's pretty interesting how that works.
And when last time I got in my accident and talking to my insurance company, and I told them I wanted to use Everest Collision, they said, "Oh yeah, they're fine. We use them for all the time."
Everest Collision Repair also has various discounts for seniors, military, students, and they will pay up to $200 of your insurance deductible. Some exclusions may apply, but see Everest Collision Repair for the details. They have 4 locations. You can find out the exact address of all of them by using the app or going to their website. They're in Salt Lake, Sandy, Tooele, and Ogden. Try EverestCollisionRepair.com.
Hi, I'm Todd Newcomb. There's a great a little video that I tweeted early this morning at RFH Bill.
Well, let me go look.
It's a little video of some mayor somewhere in Wisconsin, I think.
Yeah.
He's doing his Groundhog's Day thing with
Like
Jimmy
you.
the Groundhog.
Jimmy, that's
Sun
not a
Prairie-
groundhog name. It's not.
Why is Jimmy not a ground? Phil is a groundhog
Sure.
name. Why is Jimmy not a groundhog
Jimmy's
name? It's fine. If
Awfully defensive
Princess,
about Jimmy.
good God, Gina, you derail the story. Jimmy, that's not a ground. Why does Carrie Fisher call her dog Gary? It's fine. Anyway, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, Jimmy the Groundhog, and the mayor, Jonathan Freund, is and he's an idiot. And I love the way they wrote this story on, what is it, Gawker or Newsfeed it's called. Gawker's Newsfeed, yeah. Low-rent Punxsutawney Phil impersonator Jimmy the Groundhog has the easy task, or the easy annual task of predicting each February whether Sun Prairie, Wisconsin will experience 6 more weeks of winter. This year, the job got to him a little bit as he whispered his prognostication into Mayor Jonathan Freund's ear. The weather will be, got your ear, sucker! I'm biting your damn ear off. How do you like me now?
He gets a hold of it, too.
Yeah, he does.
He gets a good chomp in there.
Yeah. You watch the
He
little
keeps going. The
video.
mayor keeps going, though. He doesn't stop.
Yeah, flinching from the savage attack on his soundy flaps, Freund attempted to translate the bite from groundhog to English. He didn't see his shadow, the shaken mayor stammered, so it will be in early spring. Jimmy's handler is obviously concerned about the integrity of the little biter's predictive record, later clarified that he had actually been attempting to indicate that winter would last another 6 weeks. It is Wisconsin, after all.
So the mayor got it wrong altogether.
Yeah. The mayor's office responded that only the mayor can translate Jimmy's prediction, the Milwaukee Sentinel-Journal reports. But it's a funny video. Watch the little
My
video.
question is, what kind of a mayor name is Jonathan? I mean, really?
It's a fine
That's
mayor
a terrible
name.
mayor name.
It's a fine mayor name.
No, that's a terrible name.
Jimmy is not a good name for a groundhog. Jimmy's a nice guy. Groundhogs are mean.
Gino, why don't you just shut up?
A texter points out Jimmy the Groundhog was part of the Gambino family.
Exactly.
That's your confusion. So,
What?
Jimmy
Getting
is a
awfully
perfectly
defensive.
fine name for a groundhog. Who died and made you the namer of all things?
I'm not the namer of all things.
You sure act like it. No, Val Kilmer is not dead.
Yet.
And what kind of a name is Val for a Kilmer?
Exactly.
The Kilmers never named their children Val. What's wrong with them?
On X96.
It's the money.
What?
It's the money.
What is?
That's what's going to get Trump, the money.
The money?
Yeah.
Follow up. Jesse Camp has been found.
Oh, yeah.
He just wants to be left alone.
Is he really having a problem not being left alone?
I think. Well, it was
people
his
bugging him.
It was his sister that put out the all points on him.
I'm fine. I'm just avoiding you, my sister.
Well, his family.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be around his family.
He was contacted by a local law enforcement agency a short time ago and not in need of any assistance.
He was wearing an old lady's bonnet.
That's how he wants it to be.
And a fur stole.
That's how he wants it to be.
Well, obviously,
do
that's what he's
that.
wearing. I don't care for fur.
Well, maybe it's faux fur.
It might be.
My mom has a mink coat.
Like an actual mink?
Full length?
No, it's a
jacket.
They call it a car coat.
It's not a stole.
No, it's a coat.
A stole is like a wrap.
They call it a car coat because you're not sitting on it in the car.
So it's
You're
like a
just,
jacket.
but it was like her great grandmother's.
Really?
And it's a mink.
My grandmother
coat.
had a mink stole, and she also had a fox stole with the fox's head and the clasp. There was a clasp, and the tail and the head would clasp together.
Yeah, that used to be a thing.
Yeah, so it looked like you had a dead fox.
And she let us all wear it to like a school dance once, and you feel kind of weird wearing it, but it's 100 years. It's old.
How did you all wear it? Only one of you could wear it.
Well, no, at various times we all.
Oh, I see.
You took turns.
Took turns wearing it like to prom or whatever, and it's soft, but you feel
it's warm too.
Yeah, you feel very weird wearing it, but then you think, well, it's an antique.
Yeah,
all of these mink could be dead by now, anyways.
They would have died of natural
their
causes
natural
a long
life.
time ago.
See, when I was growing up, and I saw the first time I saw the fox stole was in a cartoon, the one with the head and the tail.
Mm-hmm.
And the gag was that it was still alive,
Right?
And I thought, well, that's the cartoon. I didn't know that was
yeah
a real thing. And then I saw one. God, it might have been Young Frankenstein the first time I saw because she's wearing one.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
And I'm like, they really do that?
Sure.
They wear the head
Yeah.
and the tail.
Yeah.
And they
Listen,
put the
listen, that's-
eyes. They put little plastic.
And they put
eyes
plastic
in it.
eyes in
They're
it.
please, they're glass. It would be here's the way you can market selling fur and get away with it now. You just say these animals died a natural death, and then we.
Or conversely, these animals were a-holes, and you should be glad that we.
They're a bunch of jerks. These
They were
mink
jerks.
Jerk minks.
This mink spray painted the side of a wall.
You know where the big mink farming goes on.
This one stole a car.
You know where in Morgan County.
Yeah, it was down that way.
And do they still make mink coats?
Yes,
Does anybody buy
there's a Park City in Park City. There's a I forget what it's called. They have a big fur sale every year.
I imagine there's not as much of a demand anymore. But
What is it? The famous mink company, was it Black Gamma or Black?
I don't know. I just when I grew up in Salem, there was a mink farm about 5 blocks away from the house. And every once in a while, if the wind was just right, you could smell it. They stink.
But they're soft.
But they're soft. Oh, they are.
Yeah, Black Gamma mink coats.
Black Gamma?
Black Gamma, the
Sounds
world's finest mink coats.
Sounds like an Aquaman villain.
I don't know where the name comes from, but yeah, and you still buy them. Well, there's for men and women. Well,
when was the
remember,
last time you saw a man wearing a mink coat?
you were with me
I was with you?
when we saw a man wearing a full-length mink coat
Where did we see it?
in New York City,
Oh.
in Italy, in Little Italy.
In Little Italy?
Jimmy the Nose or
Jimmy
whatever?
the Nose.
Full length, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's serious.
Standing outside of the restaurant where what's his name was gunned down, Joey Gallo, I think.
That's commitment.
Jimmy the Nose.
Jimmy the Nose. I've got pictures of him somewhere.
Why did they call him Jimmy the Nose?
Look at it, he said. Look, they call. Guess what my name is? Is Jimmy the Nose. I bet you can't guess why they call me the Nose.
Huh?
Nah. Come on in, have some clams.
Did we actually eat there?
I don't
didn't
think we
eat
did,
there,
no.
we?
We
He was
che-
trying to get us to eat there.
We had already supped.
Let's see. Yeah, you just tell people that this mink was a jerk. He tweeted a horrible joke 10 years ago. There's a mink farm on my mail route in West Jordan. They sell the fur to a place in Seattle. People come from all over the world to buy their mink. There are 3 mink farms in Saratoga Springs and 1 in Eagle Mountain.
They keep it try to keep it quiet because they have been the targets of animal activists in the past.
I'm trying to find that picture of Jimmy the Tooth.
Nose.
Jimmy the Nose. If you look for Jimmy the
Jimmy the
Tooth, that's a
Tooth is a
local
different
guy.
guy.
Oh,
That's our,
I'm not going to find that
that's our
one.
friend Jimmy the Tooth here locally.
And it might have been Frankie the Nose.
Frankie the Nose?
But I think it was somebody the Nose.
The Nose and Mink.
Oh, there
Search
it
that.
is.
You found Jimmy the Nose?
Yep.
In your
It's
phone?
Tommy the Nose.
Tommy the Nose.
It
Here,
is?
Festus, I'm sending you this.
Well, let's do the promo, and then by the time we get done with it, we can see it at x96.com/live.
Hold on. Hold on.
Oh yeah, he's famous. You just
Tommy
Googled.
the Nose is famous?
I just Googled Tommy the Nose and he comes up on Google. Tommy the Nose, Little Italy.
Here, Festus, it's coming at you right now. There it goes. Okay. Now we can do the promo.
Go ahead.
On Friday's Radio from Hell show.
At 7, we're going to answer your meh question of the week. Be sure to send your questions to radiofromhell@x96.com with the subject line, meh question. If we pick yours, you could win a gift card from Prohibition.
At 7:45, it's Hello, Yeah, What, where you call in and you talk with us about anything and we answer you about anything. Also, tune in at 8 for your text-to-win keyword so you can win tickets to this weekend's 311 concert.
That's all on Friday's Radio from Hell show on X96. There it is.
There it is.
X96.com/live.
That's Bill and Gina with Tommy the Nose, and he's wearing a full-length
Mink
fur coat. And I think we said, Umberto's Clam House.
Have some clams.
And I think he said something about it's not real fur.
Did he say that?
I don't want to drive you away from our establishment thinking that
it
it's
ain't
fur.
a real fur.
Come on, Tommy, you don't want to admit that.
Yeah, come on, sure, take a picture, fine. Come on in, have some clams.
Have some clams.
But it's not the real Umberto's Clam House. You see where Joey Gallo was gunned down, it was down the street. This is the new Umberto's.
No, I don't want to go there then.
They didn't clean up the blood on the floor. You don't want to go in there. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Don't you know who I am?
No love for the Egyptian donkey.
John Smith is next.
Kicking off nothing but great tunes for 60 minutes.